Good morning and a happy Thanksgiving. My name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca. And we are your Bourbon Journey. Today's tasting is a little bit different because we have a vintage bottle of Wild Turkey. My awesome husband here got this for me because he remembers me telling this very fond story of when I was in college and at a leadership institute. My chapter advisor wanted me to help bartend for her, and she asked me specifically because her favorite drink was Wild Turkey 101. And that's where my journey with Wild Turkey began, was in college. I wasn't really even a bourbon person at that time, but Wild Turkey helped me become one. So Wayne, why don't you tell a little bit about how you got this bottle?
Okay, so knowing what she just told you, I've been looking for a while to try to get a bottle from that era. I actually wanted to get something from 1982, 81, somewhere in there. But anyway, what happened, I had contacted Brad Bonds, who owns Revival Vintage Spirits in Covington, Kentucky, and also now has a location in Elizabethtown. And he had a couple of old decanters of Wild Turkey that were up for sale. And I decided to go ahead and take a gamble on buying one of the decanters. And I went ahead and I purchased this, contacted Brad about it, and had Jeffrey Mueller from the Scotchy Bourbon Boys pick it up for me because they were going out to the Kentucky Bourbon Fest. We met them out there. I got the bottles from him and was able to kind of hide it in my trunk for a bit, but that didn't last long. So what turned out to be a Christmas present to my wife has been accelerated to a Thanksgiving Day opening. So that's the history on how I got the bottle. And so we are going to go ahead and taste it.
Well, first, before you can taste a vintage bottle, you have to get it open. And
Yes.
It's always a little bit of a challenge because you don't know what's in the bottle, if it's lasted well. What we've learned from Brad Bonds is that if it feels heavy, it probably hasn't evaporated much.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some. And if when you're opening the cork breaks, you're actually in luck because that means there's a really, really good seal on that bottle and you have a much higher percentage chance of it being outstanding whiskey in that bottle. So this morning, the seal was cut, and I will have you watching a video about this right now so you can see how that's done. We carefully tried to ironically take the head off the turkey as we opened it, and sure enough, the cork broke. And we were actually pretty happy about that. Yes. Because I also couldn't smell any of the whiskey, which means there was nothing releasing from the cork, so there was no air or anything escaping. Then, as you will see in the video, I learned this from Brad, sticking at least 4 toothpicks around the edge. That puts a grip on the cork. And then you can there's different ways you can use different types of wine corks or a screw or sometimes even a knife to get that cork loose. And then the toothpicks help you grab onto that and keep it from falling into the bottle, which is what you're trying to avoid. So once that happened and we were able to get the cork out, we could tell by the aroma we were probably in luck. And then we poured them, and we can see that we have a wonderful color on this. Mm-hmm. It looks just like a Wild Turkey should look, a beautiful kind of golden amber. Yeah. And I believe, Wayne, you said this was an 8-year-old vintage.
Yes.
So it was bottled in 1984 as an 8-year-old. So there you go with the color. It looks beautiful. So we feel like success. I will tell you, we have not tasted it yet.
The fascinating thing for me with this, 1978, because I remember I was 12 years old at the time. That was the time you graduated high school.
I graduated high school in 78.
And in the time that it finally got to the Decanter, 1984 was the year that I actually graduated high school. And you were off in your career and being important, and I was just being a young, dumb, stupid person. But anyway, I've been looking forward to this for months. I hope you appreciate the pictures that we had put up. So should we go ahead? We've looked at it.
Let's smell it.
We have smelled it, and we're going to smell it again.
But let's really smell it well.
Yeah, and smell it this way. Yeah. Oh boy.
Wow, it is. It's got this vintage smell to it.
Yes. There is this sort of. It's hard to explain. There's a it's almost a dusty smell. And when I
A dusty bottle smell, I think is what Brad calls it. Yeah.
Yes, and initially when I heard that term, I didn't understand it. And now after doing this for a while, I kind of get it. And it's not a bad thing when you get that.
It just smells like it was done in an older time production method. And of course, we've always stored barrels in the same manner, but you know, this was an 8-year-old, so
Different
pretty good.
water.
But I'm getting some caramel and brown sugar notes on this.
That's right up front.
And there's definitely cinnamon. And to be honest, I'm roasting carrots right now, so I took them out of the oven to make the smell stop because I didn't want to smell the carrots.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm just getting like this brown sugar and cinnamon thing going on, and maybe a little bit of clove.
Not a bad call.
Can we taste it now? We've been waiting for months because, like I said, he bought this back in like August or something, and we've had the box since the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in September.
1984. It's been waiting. We're now 40 years. Cheers.
And again, we are hoping it tastes as good as it smells. Oh, wow. Butterscotch. That brown sugar on the nose, for me, is butterscotch. I don't think I normally get a butterscotch kind of thing in a Wild Turkey. And is this 101 proof?
Yes, it is a 101.
Okay, it is a Wild Turkey 101 8-year-old. And back then, when I purchased my first bottle of Wild Turkey 101, there was an 8-year age statement on it. And we should say this is, of course, during the Austin Nichols era as well. So you probably saw that on the box. But I want to taste it again because we can.
Oh my gosh. This is just.
Yeah, the butterscotch notes is probably what's really surprising me on this. Butterscotch and almost a nutmeg kind of spice. It's not a hot spice at all.
There's some cinnamon in there. Some
cinnamon. Still a little bit of the brown sugar, but I think the butterscotch took over the brown sugar. It's just amazing. I love it when we can find a bottle that has some butterscotch notes in it. It doesn't happen a lot, at least not for us. But let's take another sip because we should try the finish.
Okay.
And because we can take another sip.
And because we can.
It's going on and happening.
It's a long finish, but it's not a burn.
Not a burn at all. It's very warm and pleasant. I'm getting some of the barrel notes in there. Some sweet oak is coming through on the finish.
I'm still getting a slight cinnamon.
Yes. I'm still getting some sweet notes on the finish. I mean, it's still got a little bit, it's not as dominant, but it's still got that hint of butterscotch on the finish. So there's some sweetness as well as that sweet oak kind of char going on. It's a lovely finish.
It's
wow.
This
was worth the wait.
Yes, and this may be in the top 10 of bourbons I've ever tried. There's just something a little bit different about this, and maybe I'm a little tainted. I love Wild Turkey to begin with. That may be my favorite, but there is a difference with this Wild Turkey, and it's no knock on what's currently being made because it's outstanding. But boy, this is unexpected. I really did not expect.
And we have a lot of decanters, and we've opened a lot of decanters. But I will also say, along that line, this is a gorgeous decanter.
Oh yes,
it is absolutely adorable with the turkey looking at the raccoon, and he's a little nervous. And I want to say too that obviously because the cork broke, we can't leave it in here. We've left it in here for right now because we wanted to get this video going. But we will decant this into another bottle, probably a Wild Turkey bottle. We'll save the decanter, put it on we have a shelf that's just for vintage bottles. And then what we typically do is place the decanted bottle behind it so that we know that's what we're drinking, because it's something else. But you don't want to leave them in these because you can't really seal it back up. And I did find it a little challenging to pour out of this. We kind of took both of us to be able to pour a glass, because you're trying to hold this turkey and get it poured right out of here, and it's a little awkward, but it's gorgeous and worth the effort.
Now, case in point with this bottle, I don't know if I told you this or not. So when I've gone to Brad's page for Revival Vintage Spirits, and if you want to really check out a lot of vintage spirits to buy, almost sounds like I'm homing him there, but honestly, that's the case.
And this is not a paid endorsement, and we will put a link for it in the description.
Yes. When I initially looked for this and had it in mind, there were two decanters. This one here, and there was another one of two turkeys fighting. And I don't remember what year it is. I could probably look it up or whatever. But anyway, I really wanted to get the other decanter because I thought the other decanter was cool. And in the 48 hours when I finally got a hold of Brad, it was gone. This was
how fast they go.
And this was the only one left. And I immediately contacted Brad, told him I wanted it, and called him up and went ahead and bought it online. And he had told me that Wild Turkey in the shop, it's very rare that it comes up, especially the older stuff. And when they get it, it goes fast.
Because fans, they hang on to it, and or they come grab it up when they find it.
Yes. And so whoever got the bottle I initially wanted, I hope it's as good as this, because this was worth me not getting that other one. I will tell you right now.
Well, and I think the raccoon's adorable, and I think this is a beautiful bottle.
Well, there you go.
I love this decanter, and I'm happy you got this one.
Well, as a husband, once again, I picked wrong, but in this case, I actually was right. So anyway, we're going to enjoy this. Once again, we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Brad and the gang out of Revival Vintage Spirits, thank you so much. Thank you for being good friends as well, because you're good people. Cheers. I love you very much, honey, and it's an early Christmas for you.
Mwah.
Take care.
Cheers to all of our friends.